YouTube? It's Dylan again with Brick Fever, and I know that I've been missing in action for the last several months, but it did not mean that we took any kind of breaks when it comes to putting Lego in the vault and getting it ready for when the camera came back out. So this one's been sitting for a little while. This is a mock build of the Lego Technic Batmobile 42127. This is a Ford GT40 Mark II. It's an incredible build. And if anybody knows anything about cars, this is an extremely rare car. It's a beautiful car in person, and he did a great job. WW, the creator was, one sec, WW Brick Studio underscore mini car. This is an incredible car, but it's not very functional. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way. It just doesn't have, for these types of Technics, I really like it when it's either body off chassis or when it's functional. I can open the hood, I can open the trunk, the doors do function, but just the way that he built this intricate, if you guys take a look here, this door is extremely intricate. And the way he did this, it's very it moves. If I can hold this right here like that. You see how this thing, oh, and that's what I'm saying. It came off. So it's not really a playable model. This is more of a display piece. I do like it. And he used a really interesting technique, which I'm not familiar with, where you take, instead of showing you the parts in like the sequence of events and how to set that series up, like that sequence up, he actually will go back into the original manual and send you to steps 30 through 40. And then, so I had never done a Technic mock, like I'd never done any mocks like that where you had to go back into the original manual and then come back into the actual mock prints and go back and forth like that. I did not like it. I'm sorry, WW Bricks. You did a great job on the instructions, but it was a hindrance to have to keep flipping from one manual to the other, one manual to the other, one manual to the other. What would happen was I would get stuck in the original manual and keep trying to build off of that print. And then I'd really, oh shit, I have to go back over here. And I'd have to take apart one or two steps that I went too far. And it really just caused a problem. And it was kind of, it's just not fluid. Now, it was the first time I've ever experienced it. Maybe it'll get easier with time, but it just didn't seem very fluid. So I wasn't a fan of that. But nothing against him. He did a great job. There are a few things that keep slipping on this. Now, the way that it's assembled here, these will come off. These fender wells come off, as do the doors, but they keep popping out. It's a little too narrow, and it keeps pulling the pins out. And the back lid, like I said, nothing comes off. This piece right here, the vent covers and the exhaust, they do come off. And this is a kind of a cool little piece he did here. But again, doesn't fit in there quite properly. So he did use the clear engine compartment, all like the same pistons and block, but he didn't put any kind of light brick under it. So I thought that was a waste. He did put a light brick in the front. Right there, you got your light brick, but it's ran by this red sheath sleeve piece, and you have to manually push it with your finger. So I thought that could have had some kind of mechanism to add to it so you didn't have to do that. This was originally a race car, so it's a left hand, and I'm pretty sure they made this car for Le Mans. Is it Le Mans? Yeah. I'm not a total race guy, so I'm sorry if I messed that up. I did like the way he put these studs in for the backrest, for the headrest. If you can see that black stud right there behind the headrest, it uses that to keep the headrest in position. I thought that was slick. He could have, no, it wouldn't have worked. But I was thinking maybe yeah, he probably could have just took one of those studs out of that tile and used that. But that's not how it went down. The number one least functional piece of this vehicle, which I did change, and I went through multiple times, checked the prints, it's not in there. This piece right here, where did she go? There's one of these pieces in here. This wheel well was much lower, and I don't remember what I did to it, but I pulled it up because it was hitting the tires. And if you take a look here, the tires still rub. Still rub. We got a lot of rub, but it was rubbing on the wheel well right there. So you had no steerability. Now I can steer a little bit. It is a little bit inhibiting, but that's okay. And again, like I said, some of these pins keep sliding out. So these pins right here, slipping already. So just in this video, I've had to reset a bunch of pins several times. So if you don't touch this set and you just want to admire a GT40 Mark II that you can never get your hands on, because even a kit car of those vehicles is still six figures, well over $100,000 for a kit for an aftermarket reproduction. So I did think this was an incredibly cool alt build. Now, I know the limitations of an alt build, especially I've just did my very first one, and it is extremely limiting and very creative imagination to create something like that. So full props to WW Bricks Studio Mini Car. I enjoyed building this. The prints were like $7, I think, and even though it was challenging, I accepted the challenge and was really intrigued by the different types of building techniques that he used. I thought the doors were really creative. I would have never came up with that way to frame in the window. Yeah. Overall, build quality, I'm gonna say like a 4.5. It won't fall apart when you grab it, but you do have to be cautious not to grab it by the roof or the doors at all. You want to actually grab it underneath. The chassis is very sturdy, and it does have this nice spot right here between the wheelbase and the actual cab, essentially where the axle runs, and you can grab it right there. Now, it does have another light brick under here. I said there wasn't one, and this is why I said that. I can't even get it out. There. Light brick. All right. Only was held on there by 2 of the 6 studs. Nothing to support it and nothing to be able to push the brick to make it light up. So again, that's why I said there was no light brick in the engine compartment. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a disappointment. And I may try and figure out a way to push that button, but at this time, there's not really a way to make that function how he installed this brick. So that's all we got today. I'm going to keep making content, keep putting it out. I'm back on the grind. I'm sorry you missed me. Peace.